Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with my other host,
Karen.
And tonight, Karen, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the Whitechapel show at the House of Blues.
Yeah, and I couldn't really find a title for like a tour name. All I saw was like Playing the Valley in the Full.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like the Valley or what the tour was, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was on April 25th of 2023 at the House of Blues, as you mentioned. Ticket price is not that bad, $25 for a ticket, but then there's $10.25 in fees, so that kind of sucks. And then that awesome 11-cent tax. So no fucking clue what's going on there, what's getting taxed there, and what's not. But yeah, interesting. Joining Whitechapel, we had three openers.
Yep.
Entheos, Signs of the Swarm, and Archespire.
Archespire, yeah, I'm not sure.
Archespire.
It might be Archespire.
All these bands other than Whitechapel I haven't really heard or listened to in the past.
So I didn't think I did, but Entheos I've actually seen. I've seen two of these things on, but one of them I'm going to talk about while we talk about the band. But Entheos I've actually seen on Instagram, just not knowing it was her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like she's got her own page that she's like singing and shit.
Well, I think it's just their page, but like her singing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I didn't know until she came out. So.
The lead singer being from Entheos. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
We've already talked about the House of Blues a lot. This time we were walking our way up the stairs and somebody came down with coats, and apparently there is a coat check. So all these last couple times we were bitching about no coat check. Maybe it was just around the corner, we had no clue where it was.
See, and I don't think so, because one time we went through that door and there was no coat check there.
That's true too. So I don't know. But get up to the show floor, we find our spots. We get our merch first, I guess. Then we go find our spots. We're on the floor, and we've learned, like, don't fucking leave your spot because it's going to be hard as hell to get back. Luckily or unluckily, this wasn't really a sold out show, I don't think, was it?
No, it wasn't sold out, no. There was a little bit of room.
So, I mean, we've been lately there's been a lot of sold out shows there, and there's a few coming up that we're going to go to that it's just insane how many people they can pack in that little spot. But I actually enjoyed all the show from our normal spot on the floor. Good acoustics, good view of the stage. But like if you're not on that floor, which is very small, it's going to be hard to see that, or get that experience.
Yeah, and I mean once later in the evening, I went back and used the restroom, and it sounded so much better than when we were at the Static X show. Yeah. So I don't know what was up, if it was just that night that it sounded horrible.
Something was off.
Or so, yeah, I'm not sure, but not that it sounded great. It's not like you're being in front of the stage, but it wasn't that muffled sound that was the night of the Static.
Because there was we were like just in a dead spot right there,
so.
And like they had the TV. We were looking because we were behind a pole and you couldn't see anything else. But it was a dead spot. There was no like acoustics. Like it was very shitty.
Yeah, very muffly and like not a good sound.
But I've also been back around that, back off of the floor before in the past, like going to get drinks or going to the bathroom at other shows. I don't remember it being that bad either those times.
No, I think it was just during, we talked about this during Static X, but just during the Lacuna Coil show last year and then this one where it was like muffly. So I wonder if it is just you have to be in like a certain spot for it to be muffly, and then otherwise it's
if you're just unlucky, you get that one dead spot.
Yeah. Because think about Lacuna Coil, we are almost in the same spot, just on the opposite side of
that's true. We were
the venue. So I wonder if it's just that little spot where like the pole's just cutting it just right or something, where it's causing the dead spot.
Yeah, and I did hear a couple of people talking while we were sitting there. I think it was even before Entheos went on. But they were talking about how even we met a guy in line, and he was talking about he's never been to the House of Blues. He's excited. And as he's walking, he's like, oh, wow, look at this place. What's this over here? What's going on with this? And it does have a really cool aesthetic to it. Yeah. It's got a really good feel to the venue itself. But the people I heard talking were talking about the radius, and they didn't seem like they were really big on the radius.
Really?
Yeah. From their standpoint, there's no character. It's just a wide open space. It's huge.
That's what I like about it.
And I agree. I mean, no, but I also agree, like, there's not a whole lot of character to it. And I do like the venues that have some more character, but I also do like the openness and how large.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you think about House of Blues and the Aragon and, like, the Vic and...
Aragon's a really good one.
Yeah. And, like, even Riviera, we've been there a couple times. Like, they all have a little bit of character, like the older venues and stuff like that, where yeah, like the Radius, and we recently went to Concord. Like those are just modern open spaces where there's not the character and everything.
Yeah, Concord has a little bit more than I feel like than the Radius does.
What? How? Where?
Just
Like the painting when you come up the stairs.
the painting, the way they have their back seats behind the bar, sort of like they have two sections of like bleacher seating.
Yeah.
The balconies kind of gives it a little unique fit.
The Radius has their little unique seating as well, like around by the restrooms and in the back and stuff. It's just, I think that's done very well for how the venue is set up.
I agree. I think it's done really well.
Where it's like, it's kind of out of the way, but you can still, anywhere that there is a seat, you can still see or hear what's going on. Not that you can necessarily see, but you can hear what's going on.
The one I think that got both of those beat is definitely Mission Ballroom. I love how that's set
up.
Oh,
yeah, but that's in Denver.
Feels. It is in Denver, but it's a really cool vibe.
Yeah.
We are going to go check out the Salt Shed hopefully later this year at some show. And I'm kind of excited to see what that looks like. I'm betting it's going to be more like the Radius than anything else.
I think so too, yeah.
It used to be a warehouse that they converted it into, put foam pad up and whatnot.
Honestly, I haven't even looked at pictures for the Salt Shed or anything, like what it's set up as.
Yeah, I haven't really either, no.
Yeah, like I know last year they did like an outdoor thing.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't know where or how or what, but.
The Salt Shed is the one that says Salt Shed on it from the highway, right? Like the Morton's, like they kept that on there.
I don't think it says Salt Shed. I think it says Morton Salt.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't sure if they kept that all on there, if that's still like an active
warehouse. No, that's where the venue is.
That's where it is. I mean, that's kind of cool. I do like that a bit.
Yeah.
Anywho, though, I mean, House of Blues, it was a pleasant experience this time.
Yeah, I didn't mind it this time. We got there really early before doors open, like 30 minutes before doors open. For us, that's really early. And I was really nervous about getting a spot, having a spot on the floor. I was adamant about not leaving the floor. Just because the last couple of times we've had bad experiences.
And I mean, that's a good thing to keep in mind too for future shows is if you want to get on the floor and have a decent spot, get there early.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't leave.
We were there 30 minutes ahead of time. We were barely wrapped around the building in line.
We really weren't because once people started condensing, we were up even on the ramp. So.
Right. And even by the time we got in, like there was nobody there. Like
it was fine.
So, but I mean, for future shows that are sold out and probably bring in a larger crowd, definitely want to get there sooner than later.
Like I think doors open at 6, and by like 6:40, we even had a conversation. Like the floor wasn't full or anything, so it was like we really didn't need to be there that early. But then again, for Apocalyptica, we got there like 20 minutes before the show started, or 30 minutes, and it was completely packed. So I guess it's just all about the show, who's there, how many people get there, maybe what night it is. Also, I don't know when Apocalyptica was, but
I can't remember either.
This was on a Tuesday night, so
I mean, that was definitely a school night too, I think.
Possibly.
But I can't remember. I mean, we can look it up, but we won't. Anyway, enough about the venue. How about we just dive straight into the bands?
Sure.
Entheos, as I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think so too. It's ENTHEOS. Is that right? OES.
Oh, EOS.
EOS.
Short set, 7 songs, starting with...
You say short set, but that's the same amount of songs as the first band before Pop Evil, and I thought that they went on for a long time.
So did I. That was different, but this definitely felt short.
This is. So, before we even get into this, like, where we were standing, we could see the time clock.
I was going to mention that too.
And that was bugging me, because I'm like, I could watch and be like, oh, they can only play one more song. Like... It was bugging me.
I was doing the same thing in my head, and it was kind of frustrating a little bit to see that. And also, I think it's there for the band to like another way to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Like,
I think normally though, like there's like boxes or like not merch.
Like little boxes on the stage.
Yeah, like all their stuff is like the boxes are set up, or there's stuff on the stage where you can't see it and stuff.
Like at an angle so they can see where it is. Sort of like the speaker things that shoot back at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. I did see that too. And just looking at it being like, oh, this is, all right, so it's 7:20. They came on at 7. Probably have time for like 1 or 2 more songs, maybe 2 at most.
Yeah.
Then it's 1 more, and it's like, oh, it's 7:28. That's probably it. Something along those lines. But they came out, did their own tuning, did their own testing of like mics and shit, I believe. I remember watching them, which was kind of, you definitely see that with smaller especially opener bands coming out and doing their own shit. But yeah, like I said, short set, 7 songs, starting with Remember Your Dust, followed by Absolute Zero, In Purgatory, White Noise 2, okay, I Am the Void, Darkest Day, and then finishing off with The Sinking Sun. And, the band comes out, 2 guitar players, a drum kit, start playing, and then all of a sudden the singer comes out and she just like rips it. Like just deep fucking growls, going hard. And then she would switch. I don't know what style of vocal it is.
Yeah. Yeah, where you like growl and then this screechy growl.
It's more
screechy
the screechy
scream. Yeah.
To me, it reminds me, the first time I've heard it, or at least the thing that I always think of when I hear that is Cradle of Filth, because that's sort of where I first listened to it and picked up on it. And it's sort of that, like you said, that high-pitched kind of screechy, screamy type stuff. And she would go back and forth between both styles really, really well. And I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how vocalists do that. Like, just on a dime, they can switch between. Because we've talked about it where some bands will have that sound, but it's 2 separate people.
Yeah.
Where, like, the bassist will be one and then the lead singer or lead vocalist or vice versa or whatever. But, yeah, this is one person doing it.
Yeah. I've definitely seen it, too, with one person if they're doing more of what Whitechapel does, where they do the deep growls and they do
singing.
The clean vocals afterwards.
Yeah, I said singing. It's all singing.
Yeah.
But, the clean vocals, where it's more melodic than the growls, And
I really enjoy that sort of aesthetic, jumping ahead a little bit. But with other bands that do it, I really enjoy that as well, when they can go back and forth between those styles. And, like I said, that's very common for me to see. But when it is sort of the 2 different styles, I also, like you mentioned, we also see a lot of 2 different vocalists coming out and doing it.
Yeah.
But I guess the deep growl and that high-pitched sort of screechy scream stuff, it's very similar, I guess, to some extent.
I mean, I have no clue, but I would think that comes from lots of training and 2 different areas of how you hold your. I don't know if it's how you hold your mouth or like where you get the sound from. Yeah, but I think they're similar, but I think it's 2 totally different. So.
I mean, I'm not saying it's 2 totally. It's not 2. I agree, it's 2 totally different. All I'm saying is those are kind of, to me, neighbors, and therefore it might be a little easier than doing a growl and then clean vocals.
So I think now I feel like we're talking on something that we don't know, but I think it would be easier to go from growl to clean vocals than in the middle of singing go from, because I mean, if you think of like a metalcore band, how they have the deep growl and then they go into melodic singing, and then it's like it kind of stops for a second and then they go into the growl again, and where this is like it's in the middle of the same lyrics and you just go from one to the other. I don't know. I think this is more complicated. Okay. Granted, I can't sing at all.
Same. I also don't know. It's just I sometimes picked up on watching this band, and it was interesting. It was fun. Yeah, for sure. The crowd was getting into it. I enjoyed.
She had to kind of encourage it a little bit, but
a little, yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's how it is a lot of times. Granted, not at Denver Metal Fest. That was like as soon as people got there, they were ready to go. But a lot of times on the openers, it is kind of like people aren't really doing much until they encourage it.
Yeah.
But
good set all around. I really enjoyed the music. The stage performance I really enjoyed as well. No bass again, just 2 guitar players.
Oh, really? I didn't know so. Maybe I need to watch for that more often.
We brought that up with Pop Evil because the 2 opening bands didn't have basses as well. To me, this band is definitely like a death metal band. Yeah. Like, I think Amon Amarth is death metal, but this is like more death metal than Amon Amarth is. Yeah.
Like, according to Wikipedia, this is technical death metal or progressive death metal.
Because you were looking at that before the show, and I think you said they were progressive metal, and I was like, I don't.
Oh yeah, it was progressive metal.
I don't.
Or
Get,
technical death metal.
I don't get the progressiveness of
No.
it. I get more the technical death.
I mean, granted, these are the 7 songs we've heard, so I don't know if there's other song or like if they have different types of music out there. Because I mean, we've talked about that where bands will put out one type of music and then they change to a different type of music, or like they morph into something else. So possibly that's a case here. I don't know.
But I also think of like progressive metal as being very technical as well.
Yeah.
So technical death metal is very technical. Like you have to be very precise in what you're doing. There's very complex arrangements in your music that you're doing. So in that regards, I guess I could see the progressive aspect of it. Just when I think of progressive metal, I don't think of death metal.
You think of more like Baroness.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's boring. I like this.
No, this was fun. I had a good time watching this. This was a lot of great.
I know. I mean, almost all the music's the same, and we'll kind of not the same, but like the same death metal type sound.
Yeah.
And for the whole night, and like I think after Signs of the Swarm, I can't remember when I turned to you, but I just asked if you're all right because I feel like I'm more into this type of metal right now, and you're more into like the progressive metal type sound.
Yeah. Let's get into that here in just a little bit.
Okay.
Let's finish Entheos and we can talk about Signs of the Swarm because, that's a very good point, I think. There's not a whole lot more I want to necessarily say about Entheos. Don't know about you. Like I said already, like I like the music. I like the performance. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah. I was very happy to have this. Because sometimes with openers, it's, especially in the last year, like the first or second opener, especially if there's 4, like the first and second, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
And then it gets better. Like either the second or third gets better. But this time, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that's a good point. Like there are a few shows we've been to where I also agree with you where I did not enjoy the first few bands where it's like it took me a while to get into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to get into it this night as well.
Oh, really?
But I had a shitty fucking day at work, so I was still pissed and stewing about that.
Yeah.
Which you would think like this would like just help me unwind a little bit, but no, it took me a little bit to like let all that go.
This type of music helps me. This type of music is what I listen to at work, so that I don't have to listen to people talk.
But no, we added them to the playlist. Definitely keep an eye out for them to come to town again and check them out.
It'd be fun to check them out again. I think they said that they have a new album out, right? Was it them?
I can't remember if it was them or not. I think it may have been the next band.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, we added them to the playlist, and I think we added this band to the playlist too.
I hope so.
We added all. Yeah, we added all of them to the playlist. But there was one band that had a new track that we did not
Okay, so that might be this one.
All right, then next we have Signs of the Swarm. Again, another short set list. They only played, once again, we were looking at the clock, or we had complete view of the clock. Only played for about 30 minutes, just like the first band. Entheos did. And we have 6 songs. Unbridled, Nameless, Revelations of a Silent King, OV being of. I like when they do that. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of a cool way to do it.
Did you say Revelations?
Yeah, isn't that what that says?
Okay, yeah. I misunderstood you.
Revelations of a Silent King.
Yep.
Amongst the Law and Empty.
Low and Empty.
Amongst the Low and Empty, sorry.
That's good.
Tower of Torsos and Death Whistle. Tower of Torsos being the one that's new. So I think this is the band that's like, hey, we have a new
album
coming out, or here's ready for a new song, whatever they said.
Yeah.
Any combination of those words is what bands typically say when there's new shit they're playing. But yeah, 6 songs, super quick set.
It's kind of crazy that this was 6 songs and Entheos was 7, but I guess it's just the time length of the songs. Because neither one of them really talked too much.
No, neither one really did. I
Not
think
for this
there's a
band.
little bit of talking here, but I can't remember what. I do remember a little bit of talking.
Yeah, but it was just like the little,
little bits.
He said like, oh, the new album, the new song. He said that like Revelations of a Silent King, I think, was like one of their favorite songs to play or something. Something was like very little things that they said, but it wasn't like some of the bands that get up and between every single song they have like a little commentary thing.
Yeah. I did love this drummer. Like the drum for these guys was fucking amazing, I thought. And it's
Trying to remember.
It started with
because the drummer.
sound check. And,
oh yeah.
And they once again they're out there doing their own, putting their own shit together, doing their own sound check and all of that. And the drummer just starts doing the bass drums,
yeah,
whatever it is, right? And it's like, all right, I'm gonna put my earplugs in now. And then the bass kicks in, and he starts doing his mic checks or his checks and whatnot. And it's like, all right, I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing so far. This is awesome.
Just from the sound check?
Yeah, just from the sound check, yeah. And then the drummer comes out, and he just continued to kick ass. I felt like the drums were fucking amazing for this band. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, sorry. Was I supposed to comment?
No, just if you had anything else to
No,
throw in.
it was. I mean, I remember when they did the soundtrack, it had like the feeling where you can feel the power.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't even know how to say that, but like how to describe it, but where like
the amps were so up and the bass was so high that like you felt the bass.
Yeah, you could feel it like booming, and I personally really enjoy that.
No, it's fun. I like that too. When
without
you can feel
earplugs in.
Well, I want to protect my hearing, so.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that
Mine's
going.
already shot, so what's the problem?
Again, great stage performance.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah. I really, really, really enjoyed them.
I did too.
I should have listened to them today at work, but I didn't think about it. But this is when they were playing, I was like, oh, I'm going to add them to my daily work playlist because I really enjoyed it.
One style of vocals, all kind of the growl, unlike the previous band where she did the two styles. Yep. But yeah, it's still the same thing. It was very. I really enjoyed it. And you were mentioning earlier about, I think it was this band you turn around like, "Are you okay?" type thing.
Yeah. I think it's because I think why I asked that is because it was so much growl singing and such high bass and everything. Like I know that I'm more into that than you.
I mean, I am into it. I do like it. Not too much though, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
The Denver Beer and Metal Festival we went to was a lot of death metal like this. A lot of doom metal. I really enjoyed doom metal, I think, over this. But it's a different style. It's adjacent styles, I guess. But I enjoyed this. It was fun. All right, so our camera fucked up and it shut down. So after replacing batteries and all that fun shit, we are back. So we'll just continue our conversation where we were.
I'm pretty sure we were talking about if you enjoy this music or if you were enjoying it that night.
No, yeah, I was definitely enjoying the music and enjoying it. And you mentioned, like, this is your main music that you're really into right now. Not the main style, at least. Not the style that, like, I'm definitely, like, into right at the moment. I do really enjoy this music, don't get me wrong. I just enjoy it in smaller doses. Mixed in between things.
Not 4 bands in one night.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was one concert. It's not like a weekend of concerts like the death metal or the
Denver one.
Yeah.
But the thing with Denver was they sprinkled in doom metal, which really changed it up in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where this was, yes, one style all the way through until you get to Whitechapel to some extent. Whitechapel, we'll talk about there, is definitely the same sort of death metal music for sure.
Yeah.
But the clean vocals,
it's deathcore, so it has the clean
change
vocals.
It so much more.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, for the better. I really like that like duality of like good and evil, clean and dirty type thing.
Clean and dirty.
I guess that's one
good
way
and
to
evil.
look at it.
Yeah, I like the good and evil better than clean and dirty.
But
dirty vocals.
Yeah.
You're a dirty vocalist.
But with this band, like I was definitely starting to be like, all right, it's going to be a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, especially if that's the thing that you're really, really into. By all means, like, that's great.
Yeah.
But I do like when there's a lot more diversity in a bill, in a bill by, like, the bands.
Yeah.
So we noticed this with Lamb of God last year, where even all the bands were like, props to Lamb of God for putting such a diverse bill together. And there were a couple times last year we heard that. And I do like the diversity in the bill where you get a bunch of different styles.
Like, Lamb of God, the only diverse part of it, I think, is Baroness.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Baroness was definitely different, right?
Yeah.
That was Suicide Silence also, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Killswitch Engage. Where Killswitch Engage not quite the same level as Suicide Silence. Like they're definitely metal, but it's not like the death metal. It's more, I don't want to say pop metal because it's definitely not like radio metal, like Pop Evil and shit, right? But it is more accessible, more mainstream than death metal itself is.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you have the bridge between those two, between Killswitch Engage and Suicide Silence, which is Lamb of God, where they're...
You're forgetting Obituary.
Oh, shit, they were there too, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
Wait, so there's 5 bands. Yeah, so Suicide Silence. Baroness, Obituary, Killswitch Engage, and Lamb of God.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Baroness is the only one that's kind of out of the realm. Like, I feel like the pace and everything of Killswitch Engage is exactly the same as Obituary or Suicide Silence. It's a little bit different sound, but the pace is the same. Where Baroness was...
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that.
Maybe that's where I'm going at it is the music I like is it doesn't necessarily matter if they're clean vocals or screamy vocals or whatever. It's the pace of the music.
You just want the tempo to be up.
Yeah. And like loud drums and loud bass, well, I'm saying bass, guitar, loud bass also, but that's drums. And then fast guitar, but like limited guitar solos. I hate guitar solos.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third band has guitar solos.
The third band has a lot. We'll get into that here shortly. But I mean, sticking with this thread, I mean, yeah, I get that. I do enjoy that. Don't get me wrong. But I also like the I don't want to say slower, but it is slower. The slower tempo.
Yeah.
Sort of. I like the composition of the song, how it flows up and down, and how you can like weave certain elements in and out. I really enjoy that aspect of it, the nuance there. I do like the fast tempo. Don't get me wrong, I love that. I like guitar solos, so I guess that's where we're gonna
always be different.
Probably, yeah. But I mean, even I don't know. I've started like listening to stuff I used to think was really fast tempo growing up, and then you listen to it now, or I listen to it now, and I'm like, oh, this particular song by X, I'll just say Lamb of God, it's not as fast as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I can pick it up a lot better than I did as a teenager.
I remember like, it was probably 7 years ago. What would 7 years ago? 2016? Yeah, I think so. 2016 or 2019, I can't remember, but I was talking about how we went to a Slipknot show. I was talking with my aunt about how we went to a Slipknot show. I was just like, I don't understand how the person right next to us was singing to every single song. Like, I don't understand that. I can't pick up on the words that quickly because I'm like, they sing too fast. It's too fast for me to sing. Because at the time it was like I would listen to Disturbed and Linkin Park, where you can understand the vocals very well. And but now I can sing to a lot of Slipknot songs because it's just repetition of listening to it, picking up on the fast beats, everything like that. So it's just one example.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's just a difference of picking up on those fast beats in the fast portion of the songs versus slower.
Yeah.
Anyways, Signs of the Swarm. Did you go through the set list?
Yeah,
I can't remember. Okay, I couldn't remember where the camera thing happened. One thing that I remember from this is the lead singer was like, I think it was like during the second song or something, was like, okay, like every show we've been to, there's crowd surfers, like you guys are moving, but there's always crowd surfers, like make the security work.
Yeah, I remember that.
And by the end of the night, security was done working. Let me tell you.
There was a lot of crowd surfers.
There was, yeah.
The most I think I've ever seen at a House of Blues.
At a House of Blues, yeah.
The other thing I remember, or that the crowd interaction that the lead singer had for this was toward the end. It might have been the very last song or as they were done, is, you know, I'm going to butcher this band's name, Archespire, right? That's what
I think it's Archespire, yeah.
Get ready for Archespire. They're going to show you, how they keep it technical. Or techno, I thought he said.
Techno, yeah.
I thought he said techno.
Yeah.
And then I start tearing their shit down, and I realize, I said this earlier, like, I think there's only 3 bands because I only see 3 drum kits up there, and normally they have all the drum kits up there, and they slowly take one down at a time.
Okay.
And you're like, no, there's 4 merch booths back there, so there's 4 bands. And then when he said that, you're like, keep it techno, and I was like, oh shit, here's where the diversity comes in. I'm gonna be fine with this. You're gonna hate this.
Thought the same thing.
And
I even turned to you and I'm like,
say, I remember
gave you that face, like, oh god.
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
But then they wheeled out a drum kit, started putting that together.
Oh, are we done talking about signs of?
Oh yeah. Anything you want to wrap up about?
No, it's fine. I didn't realize that we had transitioned.
Oh, I guess we just talked about the one thing and then yeah.
Okay, cool.
But no, quickly transition or talk about the other band. Signs of the Swarm. I did really enjoy them a lot. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Something again. It's on our playlist. When it comes on, I'm not going to skip it by any means. It's like I said. I really enjoy this music as a palate cleanser, so to speak.
Okay, that's a weird way to say. I would think that this would be like main music, and a palate cleanser would be like a little Baroness on the side.
Now this is like, all right, I need something to pick up the pace. I need something to like refresh and then start my way back.
When you're having a really bad day at work, put on Signs of the Swarm.
I don't think I will. It's gonna be
Why?
It's still gonna be Lamb of God and Amon Amarth are like my go-to.
Add
day
Signs
music.
of the Swarm in there.
We'll see.
It'll make your day better.
We'll see.
And then a Wage War song.
No. See, that's so weird that you are like so into this metalcore stuff and also into this like death metal.
Yeah, deathcore.
Just because it has core in it doesn't mean it's doesn't mean like, oh, metalcore and deathcore are the same thing. Like,
no, they had same elements though.
Just no, I don't.
They do. Whitechapel and Wage War have very similar elements. It's just how the music comes across, where because Wage War is metalcore, but it has the same thing where it's growls and clean vocals, and Whitechapel is deathcore with the clean vocals.
I guess, but I mean, of the two, I'm definitely listening to Whitechapel before I am.
Okay.
Wage War.
Get ready for our 7-hour car ride.
Yeah, I know. No, we're doing no. Anyway, I don't know where the fuck we are.
We're distracted.
Signs of the Swarm. Great band. I really enjoyed it. Definitely seek it out again. Come to town. Definitely go check them out again.
Yeah. I will too.
And Archespire, as we started to talk about, kind of, we thought they were going to be a techno band. Again, not a band we've ever listened to or heard. I start bringing out the drum kit, and then I see like what I assumed was a bass, like, without the head.
Oh yeah.
And then the bass came out, and it was like a 7-8 string bass.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it was like.
Did you get a picture of that?
I may have. I don't know. I haven't looked at the pictures yet.
I kind of wish we were in like on the rail to get a really good picture of that.
It was a really cool bass. Yeah. But the guitar that came out, I actually thought was the bass player, or just like, it has no like head to the neck, right? It just goes up the fretboard and then wraps around. It's like just a nub at the point, not like that little swoopy thing that all the strings tie into.
I feel like I've seen one of those before.
So the bass player, I think, for Slipknot has one.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Which may be why I was like, oh, that's
it has
the
to be
bass.
a bass. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is gonna be like who was it? Something Dead. Dance with the Dead.
Oh, Dance with the Dead, yeah.
Where it's gonna be techno, but they're gonna be playing instruments and doing metal on top of.
Yeah.
They'll like lay down a backing track and then play instruments on top of it.
Dance with the Dead had like the DJ but a guitar player.
So they both were guitar players and they took turns. One would DJ, the other one would play guitar.
Oh yeah.
And then they'd flip for the next song. And
I just remember the little guy's ponytail.
Yeah.
He was headbanging all night.
And I thought that's what we were gonna get here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I actually had that same thought of like that it was gonna be like the EDM type music. And I actually had a positive thought about it. And I was like, well, maybe this is one that I will enjoy and then get more into the EDM side because you want me to get more into EDM side.
Not all of it. There's, I think, some things like 1788L I think you would enjoy.
No.
No, you don't even get a shot.
I've heard it.
But you don't give it a shot. As soon as we say we're playing it, you're like, I'm checking out. This is retarded. I'm not doing this. This is stupid. You can see it in your face and your eyes whenever we're like, we're going to play this.
That's just my face.
No, but it's different. Like, I know you're like normal, I hate everything, but I really don't. This is just who I am face. But that same face when it's like, I really hate what's going on. There's little nuances, but it's not quite the same face.
Okay.
Anywho, rambling again. But no, then the band actually comes out, they start playing, and it's not techno, it's not EDM at all.
Nope.
And it's technical death metal. Like, very technical death metal.
Very, very fast.
So techno wasn't techno, it was like
technical. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to show you how they keep it technical.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he said, and we thought he said techno.
Maybe. They very well could be. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Karen's comment on outfit choice.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear this.
Do you know what I'm going to comment?
No, I don't. I'm
you don't know
assuming
what
the
I'm
shorts.
Yeah, they all had swim trunks on.
That was kind of funny. I thought that was funny. The people around us kept commenting on it,
Oh,
too.
did they? I didn't hear that. Yeah. I was just like, at first when I saw the guitars that you were talking about that didn't have the
top of
the top,
whatever
that's called. Yeah, we don't know shit. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, that's very summery looking shorts. And then I saw like the bass who had similar shorts on. I mean, they're all different designs, but similar. And then I saw the singer who had the American flag trunks on, and I was like, oh, these are all swim trunks. And then I kind of just smiled.
Yeah.
It's not like the tucked in shirts from Saturday night, but
I see.
No, I liked it. I liked the swim trunks part.
I did too. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this music too quite a bit.
Did you?
I did. Of the 3 openers, this was probably my favorite.
Oh, really? Signs of this one was my favorite. And then Entheos, and then Archespire.
Again, a quick set. I felt like it felt like it went on a little bit.
He talked a lot,
but there was a lot of crowd interaction.
Yeah.
But they played 8 songs, 8 tracks. What did we get?
So we have Remote Tumor Seeker, Bleed the Future, Abandon the Linear, A Dark Horizontal, Golden Mouth of Ruin, Calamus Will Animate. Involuntary Doppelganger. I like that.
I like that name a lot, yeah. And then finally,
Drone Corpse Aviator.
Yeah. Involuntary Doppelganger for sure.
Yeah, I like that name.
Was a sweet name. I enjoyed that when I was putting this on the playlist.
Yeah.
I don't know what song it was, but like they had a backing track go, and then it was like a gun cock.
Yeah.
And then the lead singer comes out and just like does shit with his mouth and makes noises, and it sounded fucking awesome. I thought it was so weird, and I don't know, it was cool.
I like how you explained that, like just made noises with his mouth. That's like grandma explaining as somebody's singing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a machine gun sound that he was trying to do with his mouth. I assume that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
But when I heard it, I was like, that's fucking impressive to get like that out of the mouth. It's like, I thought that was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You mentioned there was a lot of crowd interaction.
Yep.
I enjoyed the crowd interaction because I found it hilarious.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where, what was it? The first one was like, we were in tour in Europe and it sucked because my mom posted she likes semen, or semen's good
semen's good for the skin.
And they kept making fun of me on the tour for that. Like,
yeah.
And like apparently she's got a big thing for Tommy Lee Jones, so he has a whole crowd like, fuck you, Tommy Lee Jones, or something like that.
Yeah.
That was the first time the first crowd interaction that made me smile. Like, it's out of fucking nowhere. Like,
yeah,
not knowing this band or what they who they are or whatnot. Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
They split the floor in half, got 2 people in the middle, and fucking played Twister.
Yep.
And then it's like, after like 4 moves, he like flips the board over that he's like spinning on stage. It's like, oh, look at this. The next move is Wall of Death, and then just they start playing and the crowd collapses in. Like, that was funny. A part of me was like, this is gonna suck, but also be fucking hilarious. We just sit here for 10 minutes and play Twister.
Yeah. So I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I didn't know it was this band, but I always bring up Instagram, but on Instagram, like if you go to the like search thing and just like go through the reels, it was one of the reels that came up. But I didn't know it was this band. But I was like, oh, it's fucking awesome that they're playing Twister. And then I knew the Wall of Death was going to come. So as soon as he was like, Twister time, I was like, holy shit. Like, I wanted to be like, oh my God, I didn't know it was this band. But I didn't want to like let you know because I knew we were going to talk about it. And then as soon as it happened, I was just like, there's going to be a Wall of Death. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
I know you wouldn't. You don't like search through Instagram like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but that's the same way how I found Entheos, or like I saw Entheos, but I didn't know that it was her.
You didn't bring that up, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You did bring that up?
Yeah,
Okay.
On the first cut of the of the podcast. Yeah, where because I'll just watch that over and over, like especially if I'm just sitting on the couch or something, just watch them over and over, and so it's just random shit like this that comes up.
And that's like the Entheos. She's on there just singing. Then.
Just singing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at a concert, but yeah, I didn't know it was.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's like recording at a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like a professional. I mean, probably not professional, but
Maybe
it looks pretty
is.
good. Yeah.
I mean, all the bands didn't seem like they had photographers.
Photographers, yeah.
So,
Which I have a comment on that.
what's that?
It's cool that they have photographers, but this night I felt like there was always like 7 or 8 up there. Maybe that's exaggerating how many there were, but I felt like they would stand up and be in the way of the crowd, and maybe it's just the positioning of House of Blues and like because the rail is really close to the stage at House of Blues, and with the security there and stuff, maybe they had to be in that area, or I mean, obviously they had to be in that area, but maybe they had to be that close or like in that position and stuff. But I felt like it was distracting and it was bugging me at least.
Yeah,
And there was a couple times where I was like, if I was on the rail, like a couple of the people were, and then this person like stands in front of me to take a picture, I would have been like, fucking get away. Like, I'm here on the rail.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, honestly.
Oh, really? Okay, so it must have just bugged me.
The one thing I did notice was right before Whitechapel went on, 4 of them or 5 of them, however, they all basically came down from the side and worked, because we were right by on stage left. Yeah. Basically the entrance into the barrier.
There was like no barrier like right by us.
There's like a trash can, and then
that was part of the barrier.
Guard. Yeah. And then just like a security guard standing there who was also helping with the crowd surfers and whatnot. But they just came down through the side into that little gate, and like 4 or 5 of them, just one after another in a row. Like, yeah. And at first, I was like, it was like, oh, the band's gonna go on here real soon. This is the VIP people who paid.
Oh no, I didn't.
To get like the front row seats. We've seen that with a few other bands where for the first like 2 songs, VIP people can. One of the packages is you get like that in between the barrier view of the stage. You can take photos and whatnot. But then I realized they all had their like professional cameras. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, shit, this is the photographers that are coming in. So still the band's about to go on. But now we just gotta get our places.
That was for every single song, not just Whitechapel. But
that's when I only noticed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not every single song. I meant every single band. But yeah, I don't know. This night it bugged me. I've never really noticed it before, so maybe it's just the number of photographers that they had. I do remember being at the Radius. I think it was the night of In This Moment, and the photographers were like right by us in the crowd. Oh. And that bugged me because their camera lenses were like real, and they shuttered. Yeah. It wasn't like just silent, which obviously during a concert, maybe you don't have to worry about like having the silent sound or whatever, but I could hear it and it was bugging me. So that was the only other concert that I've been to that the photographers are impeding on my experience.
Your experience.
Yeah. And it could just be mine personally and nobody else's, but.
Yeah. And just. Yeah, exactly. There was, I think, one moment too at the end during Whitechapel where one of the photographers came back and went into the crowd to like get photos of like the pit.
Oh, the pit, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that too.
Anyway, back to Archespire. Other crowd interactions. There was we have like 2 songs. I think it was like we have 2 songs left to play for, which is Good News and Bad News. Or no, like I have Good News and Bad News for you. We have 2 songs for you. Bad news is our driver's a drunk and drinks way too much, and we could all die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Still kind of funny, but also drunk driving not that funny.
No.
So
No.
it's like, all right.
Part of me's like, I hope you're kidding, but
Yeah.
he might not be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then another one, their lighting tech.
Oh yeah.
It was his birthday. Was it his birthday?
No, was it this band? The lighting tech was
A former firefighter. He took time off.
Not former. He is a firefighter that's taking leave to help with the lighting.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember if that was this band or if that was art.
That was this band. Yeah.
Signs of the Swarm. Okay.
Because then when he's got done, he's hung like a horse. He's single.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. He had all the banter.
Also, I wasn't joking about our driver.
Yeah.
It was like how we ended that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, really great stage performance. Like I said, I really enjoyed this band the most out of the three openers. Definitely get the technical aspect of it because you were talking about guitar solos, and they would switch guitar solos back and forth, and it was very technical solos.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in death metal, you don't really hear very many guitar solos like that, and so that it was just kind of odd to me. It was odd to me to see that, but then seeing that it's a technical death metal band, it makes sense.
And then even like bass solos too in there.
Yeah.
Playing is like 7-string bass, 8-string bass, right? Like just going bonkers on the bass. I really enjoyed this band a lot, like I said, a million times already. But again, not knowing the band and not knowing their music, so I feel like, especially early on when there wasn't, like when I feel like they transitioned between one song to another without any banter, any crowd interaction, it got kind of hard for me to track what song was.
Oh, like how many songs they played?
Yeah. So,
are you talking for like Entheos and
for this last band?
Oh, okay.
Archespire.
Okay.
And like I said, like we've said, that clock though was hanging over the edge.
Yeah.
So it's like before he even came out and said we have 2 songs left, I was like, I think they might have time for 2, but I also feel like their songs are like 8 minutes long. So maybe not. And looking at their times, they're not that long. There's a couple like 6-minute, 4-minute songs, which 4 I think is average, but not like an 8-minute song by any means.
There's just a lot of banter.
There was, yeah. But like I said, like I felt like some of the songs blended really well together that I really couldn't tell if it was one song or 2.
That's what you're commenting on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, said a million times, my favorite band of the night. I think not of the night, but of the openers.
Yeah.
I think you said your favorite was
Signs of Whitechapel, obviously,
right.
But Signs of the Swarm was my favorite opener.
All right. Before we get into Whitechapel, I don't think we've ever done this, but quick recap of the openers and our thoughts. Were you a fan of all of the openers?
Yeah.
Me too. I really did enjoy all the openers. The only thing I didn't really like is because to me it felt very repetitive. Same thing over and over and over and over, even though I know it wasn't the same thing over. And we touched on that briefly, that I do like the more diverse type stuff. But overall, I still really enjoyed all of the openers. They all put on great shows, great sets, and happy to see them. I'll definitely check them all out again.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, I didn't know we were doing like a whole thing on it. So.
No, I just thought we haven't really done that and talk about.
I'll be prepared next time.
No, it just came up and.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just said, I like it, and you're going into a whole bunch of stuff about it.
Anything else for you around the openers? Okay, and you can cut all that out if you want.
No, I won't.
And then we get into Whitechapel.
Yeah, I want to talk about the clock really quick before we get into Whitechapel.
Okay, get into the clock.
So, Archespire got done at like 9:10 or something, and then I was like,
was
okay,
it really?
Yeah, it was. And then I was like, okay, so Whitechapel probably go on at 9:30.
Yep.
And then it became 9:40, and then it became 9:45.
9:42 is what I remember.
Was it?
Yep, 9:42 is when he came out.
Okay, I thought it was 9:45 and they came out at 9:48.
No.
Okay, I might have been off a little bit
because I remember. Go ahead.
Well, basically, I was just like, I knew that they were playing the Valley in the full.
Yep.
And then I was like, but I hoped that they would then play 6 encore songs. That was my hope. I didn't know.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
But then as the time clicked on, I know that at House of Blues, I think that they try to be done at like 10:40 because I think they have to be done at 11.
Okay.
So 10:40 is like, okay, now we have time to cut off so that we don't get into the city issues.
And that's just based on past shows you've been to.
On a lot of past shows, and I think I saw an article on Wrigley where the city has a thing about 11 o'clock.
But is that just for Wrigley or is that for
I don't
all
know.
venues?
I don't know if it's just for Wrigley or not. I'm just saying I read an article about Wrigley that they have a thing for 11 o'clock.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's where I'm getting this from.
Okay.
And I don't know where this article came from, but anyways. So, and plus almost every show, like whenever we go to the Aragon, they're done at 10:50. I mean, maybe other genres of concerts go on later. I mean, because I know, like, when Kanye West...
He did his listen party.
Listen party. It didn't even start until 10 o'clock.
It was fucking late. You're right. It was like 3 hours late.
But I don't know if he got fined for that.
So, yeah, and that's the other thing. I think you definitely get fined for stuff.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that with Metallica at Lolla.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know if we ever posted that episode, but...
No, we didn't. We had COVID when we recorded that. It was bad. And plus, we didn't have good set. I don't know. That was like our second episode that we ever tried to record.
Our trial run, yeah.
Our trial, yeah.
But like even on their like set list, it says hard curfew at this time.
Yeah.
And they cut Lars off from his like.
Well, they played for 10 minutes after they were supposed to, and then they came out and did their pick thing, and then they talked, and they cut Lars off. Anyways.
But yeah, to your point about the clock, I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I do remember it being 9:40, 9:42. I'm fairly certain it was 9:42 because
you could be right.
As the evening went on, he got to 10, and then it got to like 10:10, and then 10:20, and I was like, the Valley's short as fuck. It's like 40 minutes long.
Yeah. And
I was like, so that gets us to 10:20 at that point, and around 10:20 I was like, the Valley's got to be almost over. And getting in, I listened to Whitechapel. I enjoy Whitechapel. And once I found out they're playing the Valley in the full, I listened to it that day. I think I found out, and then I didn't listen to it again.
Oh, okay.
Since then, because I don't want to. I don't like when bands play the album in the full.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an album I know and I enjoy. Like I don't like I know what's gonna come next. I want to be surprised aspect.
Yeah. I get that feeling because even when we were going through it, which I think a couple days ago I told you, like, I think that they're playing it front to back because I saw that on like an Instagram post, and I was like kind of upset that day that I saw that, because I was like, oh, I knew they were playing it in full because they've announced that since they announced the tour, but I guess I was kind of hoping it was like play a couple of songs off of Valley, play a couple songs off Kin.
See, and that I enjoy. Like if you can sprinkle it across, but if you just do boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. That's cool to see. Like, you only do it for like special occasions. And the Valley came out in
2019, I think.
2019.
So I think they were supposed to do a tour in 2020. So I think that's where this came from.
We couldn't do it because of COVID.
Yeah, because like when we saw them last year, they were playing the Kin album. Because
the Kin was their newest album.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I love the Kin.
I know you do.
Like, I'm a big fan of the Kin.
And I love the Valley.
Well, not the Kin, of Kin.
Of Kin, yeah. I like Valley a lot. I don't know what their other album is, just Whitechapel.
This is Exile.
Oh, Exile, yeah.
But I mean, all right, quickly getting into the playlist then. Obviously all of the Kin, which was...
No, the Valley.
God damn it. All of the Valley that we've been saying all night.
Did we go through?
Yeah.
Okay. When a Demon Defiles a Witch, Forgiveness is Weakness, Brimstone, Hickory Creek, Black Bear, We Are One, The Other Side, Third Death. What's that one? Oh, Lovelace and Doomwoods. Sorry, I didn't know Lovelace.
All the Valley.
Yep.
Start to back. We get to Doomwoods and Phil Bozeman's like, we finally made it. We're here. We're done. And with good reason,
Yeah.
he was definitely not feeling well.
Yeah. You could tell. I mean, so before it even starts, it's just the drummer up there. And then he comes out in a coat and pant, or like
His jeans and a
his
coat.
yeah. But like a coat zipped up with hood on, and he's like, "So I'm under the weather. I have something going on. I'm gonna try to push through." And at first I was like, "Shit,
So
like this is gonna be bad."
yeah. So you were talking about how long it took for this, like them to come
Yeah.
on and go on.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the same thing, but there was a lot of fucking shit on that stage, and they cleared all of that out and brought out the drum kit on the high riser. But I think it was already on the high risers.
Yeah, it was out there already.
But by the time it got done, there was nothing on the stage.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you noticed this too. Members from the previous bands were coming out to help tear down. The lead singer from Signs of the Swarm was out there pulling down the lighting. So I think like those lighting may have been theirs, and he's like, "Go fucking use it, do whatever you want with it," or it was somebody's. But it was kind of cool to see the other bands who were there all night coming out to help tear this shit down and clear the stage.
Oh, okay.
And he got over. Stage was empty. I saw the drummer out under the clock, just beating away, having fun with it. Off to our side of the stage, on stage left, you can kind of see somebody with a guitar like tuning it, and either a bass or guitar. I don't know who or what. But the one thing I do want to say real quick about this, the music in between the bands was fucking weird.
There was a lot of rap.
A lot of rap, a lot of pop.
And then this one was country.
Yeah, I don't know.
It started with country.
It was all over the fucking place. There was some metal that got sprinkled in every now and then.
And then it was Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, Sweet Caroline.
Oh, Sweet Caroline. Yeah. Sorry, I forget what concert it is.
And the drummer sitting there beating away, and there's like the whole crowd, bump, bump, bump. And the drummer just like perks up and looks over and just has this giant grin on his face.
Oh.
And then just kind of like smiles, shakes his head, goes back to doing his thing. And then it's hands.
Oh, yeah.
Touching hands. And then later on, bump, bump, bump. And every time it was the bump, bump, bump. Like he had this giant smile on his face. Like it made me smile. Like he's getting a kick out of Metalhead singing Sweet Caroline, which is fucking awesome. Also, I don't know. I love that. It made me smile. But yeah, as you were mentioning, came out, and I thought he was going to say,
"We're not doing this."
We're not doing this.
I know, me too.
I was really, because I mean, the stage was set up, and the drummer was back there, like I said, beating away, just hanging out for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came out, I was like, "Hey guys, sorry, I got some bad news. We can't do this tonight. Sorry." I was really worried that's
I did too. Yeah.
But as you said, it's like he's under the weather. We're gonna try to push through this. We'll do the best we can. Please be patient. And then the other members came out, and then they started playing, playing the Valley. And he did great.
Yeah, I could, from a vocal standpoint, I could not tell a difference.
No, not at all.
From an energy standpoint and from, performance. I mean, nothing against him. I don't want to sound like I'm being like it sucks, because it didn't.
No.
But he did say multiple times like, "Hey, I might be like sitting down, or I might be like singing from the back, but like I'm going to do that. Like, gonna get through as much as I can." So yeah, a couple times, like during is it Brimstone? He sat down. I think it was the first one.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it was Brimstone. He sits down and just sings the whole song.
So he had the risers that you would stand on.
Yeah, and I've seen video from other concerts, and he's like jumping off of those, and like using those. I mean, like when we saw him at the Radius, like it's just all over the place. So it was a little different to see him using it as a chair instead of like
because he brought the mics down like all the way down to like so he could sit there and sing.
Yeah.
And then put it back up when he wanted to stand up. And there's one point he turned over to stage left and like pretended to sit down and then like point to the ground like, "I need a chair now."
Yeah.
And then he went and sat on that thing, and you see somebody running out.
Yeah,
with the chair.
I saw that. Yeah.
And then he's sitting on the chair for a couple songs, or in between, like every now and then. Also, he's like, at one point, he's like, Yeah, I had a 102 fever today. I was in the fetal position. I wasn't sure I was going to make this work. I'm here now. We're going to do this. We're going to push through. But throughout the set, he was taking his coat off.
Yeah.
And then on and covering his head. Like,
you know he had a fever.
Definitely had the fucking chills. And that shit sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's fucking out here like just.
I know.
I'm gonna do it.
I think about when we were sick last summer and we couldn't even like get off the couch or couldn't even like walk to the grocery store, and he's out there fucking singing and doing as much as he possibly can, and it's like, man, we suck.
But I mean, getting into the playlist.
We didn't finish the playlist.
No, I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The Valley, because I mean, they said they're gonna play that in full, and we already talked about they did it in order.
Yep.
And like I said, I listened to it when I found that out, and I haven't touched it since.
Oh, okay.
And the highlight of the album for me, especially at that time, was Hickory Creek.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then when they get to like, this is Hickory Creek, and they start getting into it, I was like, oh shit, that's right. This song's on that album. Fuck, that's awesome. So that's where then I get that surprise.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, good thing I haven't touched this in months, so I could be like surprised a little bit by it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. I love that song. It's not as good as I Will Find You, but we're probably not going to get that tonight, and at least I got this, so that's awesome. And the very first song for their sort of encore or post The Valley was I Will Find You.
Yep.
And I was so happy to hear that.
Yep.
So Hickory Creek was definitely like the highlight for me for the album. Other than that, I did enjoy the whole album. The whole set was awesome for this first part. How about you? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I've listened to The Valley through multiple times, so I know the order of the songs and stuff. I actually enjoyed listening to it coming through going start to finish. I didn't think
really?
I would, but I did because I listen to this a lot, like walking to work. So I don't have my phone out. I don't know what song's coming up. But just hearing that first second of the song, It's like that click of like, oh, this song,
That's what song I'm gonna hear.
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit different than when, like, not necessarily knowing what song's coming on next, like when you're looking at your phone or looking at your computer or whatever you're listening to music on, or on the radio. Sometimes it comes across your radio, where sometimes I don't pick up what the song is until I read it, and then I'm like, oh, this song.
Oh, like the title.
Yeah, the title. Yeah. Or like even obviously we knew Whitechapel was playing this, but even who's playing the song until I read it. Where when like you're walking with your phone in your pocket or something, you kind of get that click of like, oh, this song. So I kind of like that going through where I just heard the first second or a couple seconds of the song and be like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I know the songs, but like I knew what song was coming up. And then the first time we saw them last year, which was with Trivium.
I believe so.
So in October 8th, I think was Trivium.
Yeah.
Doomwoods is the song that got me to buy their albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I liked their entire set when we saw them with Trivium. But when I heard Doomwoods, which there's like a line in there that's like, the devil is alive. And that's like,
I do remember saying that a lot.
Yeah. So that song, and that's the song that they ended their last set with.
Okay.
But after hearing that song, I was like, I think you and I went back to merch right away.
Yeah.
And as we were walking to merch, this is at the Radius, not at this show. As we were walking to merch, I was like looking up their set list from the previous nights, so I knew because I didn't know their albums. So I was like, I wanted to.
You want the album with that?
I want the album with that song. We ended up buying both albums, I think, right?
I don't think so. I think
so we only have Valley? We don't have the Kin?
I don't think we have Kin.
Oh, well, we need to buy that then.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, so that's what my memories of this album is all of that.
And so it's funny you brought up Trivium, because I do remember seeing them at Trivium, and I do remember liking their set quite a bit. But I didn't pick up as much clean vocal at that show.
Oh, yeah, you said that, yeah.
I definitely got a lot more clean vocal here tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was my first time seeing them.
It's the same person singing.
No, so. I know it is, but it was my first time.
Joking.
It was my first time seeing them, the first time even listening to their music when we saw them at Trivium, and then since then I've listened to them more.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
definitely picked up the clean vocals, and that goes into, like I said, the very next song, which was "I Will Find You," which I love that song so much, and I was so excited.
Yeah,
when they finally where they came out, it was like, "I will find you," or no, it started picking up the music.
The music started, and you just start smiling right away. Which I know this is like the one song that you really enjoy, and I knew I didn't even know if you had heard it yet but when I listened to it, like maybe a couple days after we saw him at Trivium, like when I heard that, I was like, Brian's gonna like this song because it kind of has like that. I say country, but like that.
I definitely get country too.
Yeah, like the. But you use a different word than country.
I use like old school rock, folky kind of country.
Yeah,
it's sort of like how it starts, just the guitar riffs.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed it was all backing tracks. I really wanted to hear like just the guitar player come out and play that.
Yeah.
But when I did hear the backing track for it, it was like, yes, fuck yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, I like that song too. I mean, I like a lot of their songs, so I shouldn't even be saying it like that, but I really enjoy that one.
But once again, that duality of like good and evil, clean and dirty vocals, and just like clean and dirty instruments. Like, you start with that clean sort of country, folky, whatever you want to call it, right? Mm-hmm. Guitar riff coming into it, and then it just fucking drops, and you get kicked in the face. Like, I fucking love that so much. And then you can switch back and forth, like. I love that change of pace and change of tempo, like all that shit. So that's what I really like, and I think that's why I gravitate a lot towards doom metal more than death metal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because of those, you can transition into
it
and out of the kind of stuff a lot better.
See, I think when Demon Defies the Witch does that too.
Yeah.
Because it's like got the melodic parts and.
Yeah, Hickory Creek for sure is very similar to I Will Find You, and like I said, like I heard that, I was like, if I'm not going to hear I Will Find You, at least I got this.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the last 3 songs of the encore, because they played I Will Find You. So they played the entire Valley, and then they went backstage, came out and played I Will Find You, and then went backstage again.
Yeah.
And then so the last 3 songs was prosthetic fluid I can't say that word. Asphyxiation. I can't say it.
Prosthetic fluid asphyxiation.
Yes, I've never been able to say that word. Possession, and This Is Exile.
So on set list, they definitely have, as you were mentioning, they came out and played I Will Find You, and then transitioned back. And they have it listed as set 1, set 2. Just because set 1 is
the Valley,
and then everything else, 4 extra songs.
So when they announced this, they said that they were playing the Valley in the full and then an extended encore. So that's why I was hoping that they would play 6 songs for an extended encore.
Yeah, so you mentioned looking back at past shows to see if...
Oh, yeah, because we had talked... Sorry, I interrupted you, but we had talked about the set list, about if it was changed because he was under the weather, like if they cut out songs or whatever. And I checked back, and they're the same number.
Yeah, I've been looking at Setlist FM for some of their previous shows, and it's all 14, and it looks like it's the same ones.
Yep, same order and everything.
Yeah, so they didn't cut it short at all.
No,
no. Which very easily could have been like, hey,
we're playing the Valley and that's it.
We're playing the Valley. I wish we could play you more. I'm so sorry. We'll be back in town soon. We'll catch you next time, and I'm sorry. And the next time you come in town, instead of playing, your 14 songs, say, fuck it, we're going to go over the 11 o'clock curfew, if that's what it is, and play some extra songs for you. But I was shocked at, like you mentioned earlier, how much energy he had for definitely being under the weather.
Yeah.
And
for having, he said something about like having bronchitis or some bronchial infection or something.
I think he said he thought he had bronchitis. Yeah.
And it's like, for him to be able to sing like that and have bronchitis or have a bronchial infection is just crazy.
Yeah.
Because generally you can't talk, and you can really tell, and it hurts so bad, which maybe he wasn't pain the whole night. I don't know.
Maybe. But it easily could have been, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can hide your throat pain for sure. To me, having COVID twice, I had COVID a few weeks ago. and a year ago, this felt more like potentially COVID. Like, but the symptoms for that are flu-like, which is the same for bronchitis. So like it's all like I don't want to say he had COVID, right? Like I don't want to say that at all. But the chills, he had a little bit of a cough, not that much of a cough, but the chills for sure. Like the last time I had COVID, I remember, not the last time, the first time.
Yeah.
Like I had the chills so bad, and I hate that shit so much. And energy, having absolutely no energy, being zapped. But he made do with what, like, if that's the case, like he was still moving around and not jumping off the risers or anything, but he was putting on a show for sure.
I'm wondering if it wasn't, well, at least maybe not a positive COVID, because I'm pretty sure if he was that sick, they would have probably done a test and then been like, if you have COVID, sorry, you can't perform. But so that's why I'm wondering if he's saying bronchial infection, just because he did have a cough. He did cough a few times.
But it wasn't like when we had COVID and we're like nonstop cough.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a few coughs in between here and there.
Yeah. I mean, we're not doctors, so we don't know. But and are you a doctor? You're not even a master yet.
No, not a doctor.
And obviously, COVID impacts everybody differently. So
yes, yeah.
I mean, that could be something too. But
in any case, definitely under the weather.
Yeah.
And still put on a fucking amazing show.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that Signs of the Swarm said that to make the security work and crowd surf.
Oh yeah, you were gonna bring
shit
this
like
up.
that.
Yeah.
So during Whitechapel, and I can't even remember what part of Whitechapel it was, but in the middle of the floor, a security guard got up and was like, "No more, like we're done. Like you're not sending anybody anymore."
So go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
That he said that.
Oh, this was over on the other side of the stage, on stage right.
Well, center, I would say.
Center, yeah, all right, yeah, somewhere in there. I saw that too, and I didn't take it as like, no, we're done doing this. I took it as like he was pointing out one individual, being like, you're done doing. Like he did like a little hand throwing motion. So I don't know if like there was somebody like being more aggressive with the push into the security.
Maybe.
That's how I read that situation.
Oh, okay. I read it as no more crowd surfing.
Yeah, but like, why tell that one little section, I guess? And you can't really control that anyway.
I guess.
But I mean, I guess I could see it that way too. I read that more of like, you're done doing that or you're going to get the fuck out.
Okay.
Because there was also sort of a fight near us where a couple guys were like pushing each other back and forth. And I guess that's one thing too. The crowd here was very active, I did notice, I haven't been in a crowd like this in a while where everybody seems to be moving. Over by us, we were very far on the edge, so we didn't get as much of that. Mm-hmm. But a few people to our left, you could definitely see that there's the constant like wave movement of just like, the ebb and flow. Which, like I said, we haven't been to a show like that in a while, and shows like that are so much fun. Yeah, that's happening. But also after with that one security guard being like, "No, we're done." Whatever he was saying, either no more crowd surfing or to this one person, no more whatever it was. We don't know. We weren't over there. There was the guy we were mentioning earlier. Yeah. Come up over near us.
Which one? Magic or?
I don't care about the Magic as much.
Oh,
it was just a fun little thing. Like, he has a Magic shirt on and he used to play Magic the Gathering. This guy we were talking about earlier, though, this other guy, in like slacks and a button-down shirt that's tucked in, middle-aged man, just going at it, goes up over and cool. That's awesome. He's having a good time. Goes up the second time, and I think this is why you call him the gym man, because he like did this sort of like split thing as he was going over.
Oh, so he had already crowd surfed once?
Yeah, that was the second time.
Oh, I didn't see the first time.
Oh,
then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is funny. Go ahead and tell your thing, and I got something to add on top of it.
Okay, so what, the gymnastic thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna say the same thing right after that then.
What are you gonna say after? I'll piggyback on what you're gonna say.
Okay, so when the time I saw him, he like when he got to the rail. The security right in front of us grabbed him and he like kind of spreads his legs in the air and makes the security like pull him over, and then he puts his feet together and does the whole like.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like that, like a gymnast. Like, sorry, I'm way away from the mic, but like a gymnast where they're like
stuck the landing with the hands up.
Yeah, and then he shakes the guy's hand and then he says, and the security's like, "No more," no more. And he's like, one more. And the scary's like, no more. What were you going to say?
I didn't see the stick the landing.
Oh, yeah. That's why I call him the gymnast guy.
I thought you were doing it because like he went over like with his legs.
No, because he
doing the splits.
He
in the
did.
air.
Well, I think he did it on purpose, where he was like, "Look at I'm a gymnast," and then he sticks the landing.
Yeah, I did see the legs where he was like, it almost seemed like I took it as this guy's fucking wasted and doesn't know how to like operate his limbs anymore.
I think he did it on purpose.
But I didn't notice the whole stick the landing and like, yes, I did it. 10 out of 10. But I did notice I was laughing so hard. It was the guy's like, the security guard's like, you're done, because it was one after another. It was boom, I did my first one, went to the back, did his second one. That was the stick the landing one that you were seeing.
Yep.
And yeah, I saw the security guard being like, you're done, no more.
Yep.
And it was hilarious, like you said, just but one more, please. Come on, Dad, just one more. Let me do one more. Nope, you're done. But just one. It's like, if you do one more, you're out. So one more, I can do one more. But you're out then. Shook his hand. But one more? Like, we're buddies now, right? Like, one more, and nope, you're done. I saw that. I didn't know if you saw that, but yeah, that made me laugh. It was great to see that.
Yeah.
And he didn't go up again. So.
Well, not by us, anyways.
I didn't see him on the other side, because that's the other thing too here, right?
Yeah, you can see the other side of the car. I can't see the other side of the car.
Also, though, the security that aren't on the rail but are sort of on the wings, as people are crowd surfing, they do like pop up with lights to like highlight them, so the people behind the rail know where to pop up and what to do. So I didn't. Every time that would happen, I'd like just because they do it on both sides. So when it happened over here, it's like, oh shit, I need to turn around to see if anything's coming. Nobody over here. Where was it? Oh, it's way down there. Okay. And I didn't see him again after that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if I was him and wanted to do one more, yeah, go over to the other side of the fucking stage and do it. But yeah. But yeah, the security guard got their work. Yep. Because there was a lot of fucking crowd surfers.
There were a lot
for Whitechapel.
Well, yeah, I mean, just for all the bands and well, not Entheos, but for the other bands.
It started slow, and then as the night went on, worked up.
But I mean, for a House of Blues show that recently that we've been to, it was pretty active.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that many people at House of Blues.
Not crowd surf, no.
The only time I've seen a pit as big and crazy was Hell Yeah. You didn't go. You were in Iowa at that time at the fair. But that was a show I went to by myself. All in all, the bands were fucking awesome. I enjoyed all the bands. The crowds were great all night long. We got there early enough to be on the floor and to stay on the floor. That definitely helped, I felt like. But as you mentioned, acoustics were a little better back this time around.
Yeah, like I think I went at like 10-15 to the back and it sounded okay. Like it wasn't like the other when we tried to go see Static X.
But I mean, yeah, it was a great show all around. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. I was very happy to see Whitechapel again. I've been looking forward to this concert though for many, many weeks. So
I would like to see them when they're all at 100% health and
back to
that show
like when we did with Trivium. Yeah.
But all things considered, it was still a phenomenal show given health and whatnot.
Yeah, I want to see them at a little bit larger venue too.
For sure, larger venue. But I mean, I don't know if they will, if they didn't sell this out.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand all that shit, but
still, it'd be fun.
Yeah, just I don't know.
I guess venue size not so much for me, but venue setup. If venue that was set up a little better.
That's true. I don't think it's necessarily the size. I don't like the setup of House of Blues anymore. Yeah. I like the more open area venues because even like the Concorde's not that big and it seems so much better because it doesn't have that.
Because it's more open.
Yeah, it doesn't have that railing and like, because House of Blues you have to like kind of go down into the pit. I mean, it's like 4 steps or 3 steps or whatever, but it's still, I would prefer an open space.
Agreed. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, great show all around. Great live performances all around.
Yep. Yeah.
New bands for us to check out
Yeah.
and watch and follow. So
Yeah, very fantastic night.
yeah. We'll catch you next time. Go see some live music.
Bye.